A lot of people, including me, used to think that Frankenstein is the monster or the creature. Well, it's the monster, but the human version. That is Frankenstein. But this is Frankenstein's monster. I hope it's all clear. One of the best movies in 2025, it's not the best. From acting to storytelling to cinematography to adaptation, everything was phenomenal and a piece of art. I like the narration of events in this movie and how they made two chapters, one for the creator and the other for the creature, and they confront each other at the end. Although it was brief, but I think the writer delivered his message so well. Victor was the only child for his parents, and I was surprised when I found out that his father is actually Tywin Lannister, but his name here is Leopold Frankenstein. He's a doctor and he teaches his son Victor by beating, and later we see Victor beating his own child, the monster, exactly as he was getting beaten by his father. Same abuse, different people. And here the writer want to show how your environment, your background, your upbringing can affect you as a person. And it's either going to lead you to be a human or a monster, regardless of your appearance. His mother dies later while she was giving birth to his little brother, William. And after a while, his father dies too, but not in a bathroom this time. And the brothers drift apart. Time flies and we see Victor as a doctor, and he is in a hall full of people and other scientists, I guess. And here, two things appear. First, Christoph Waltz, who play Henrik Hollander here, and second, a demo version of the monster who looks like Frieza when he got watched by Goku for the first time. Anyways, Henrik decides to fund Victor to continue creating his monster, and they become partners and friends, I guess. Later, Victor meets his brother and his brother's wife, which was one of the best characters in the movie, and Mia Goth nailed that role, honestly. Victor and Henrik later go to the tower that the experiment is gonna be conducted in, and they start collecting parts from dead people. After this, Elizabeth betrays her fiance with his brother, and then she leaves him. Then they continue creating Frankenstein, and right before they turning it on, Henrik exposes his secret that he needs a new body because he's ill and he started dying, and so he needs the fucking body. But Victor refuses and tells him to fuck off, and a small quarrel occurs between them, and Henrik falls from a great height and smashes his head and dies. Victor tries to carry on his experiment, but it fails, or that's what I thought. But the first question that popped up to my mind when I saw the creature is that why he give him a dick? He's gonna regret this later. Anyways, days passed and Elizabeth and William came to check on Henrik, but then Elizabeth finds out about the monster, and I don't know how she wasn't surprised when she saw him, but anyways, it doesn't matter. Oh, and their scene gave Tarzan and his girlfriend vibe so much. Afterwards, Victor considers it a mistake and tries to burn it down. And here I want to share one point that I like that Victor misunderstood it, and that shows how an arrogant scientist like Victor can't accept imperfections. Victor hated the monster not only because he couldn't talk, but also because he is 6'5" and he could pull his girl anytime, and so Victor lightened the shit out of him. Then the other chapter of the story begins, and it's about the creature. We see that he could escape and he walks and explores things and learns things like speaking from a blind old man. And that's different from the real narrative or the old movie where the monster can't say full sentences and just screams most of the time. Anyways, the monster leaves the old man searching for answers about him, and he figures out that he is nothing but an assembly of unwanted body parts. He gets back and finds that the old man was ripped by the wolf, the only one who cared about him and treated him as a real human, not a monster. And in a very dramatic scene, we see the conflicting feelings inside of him about whether he is a good guy, as the old man said, or that he's just a terrifying creature. He finds Victor later and asks him to create a companion for him. And I don't know why he comes always at the worst time. Victor refuses, and what we all expected to happen happens. Victor tries to shoot the monster, but he shoots Elizabeth by mistakes and kills her. In the narrative, though, the monster was the one who killed Elizabeth, and that amendment was substantial yet nice and really endorsed the writer's vision of how humans can be monsters and how monsters can be humans. Victor tries to hunt and kill the monster for a long time, and it's really wonderful to see this change in Victor from seeking success to destroying it. At the end, Victor dies and leaves the monster alone. The only negative thing in the movie is that I struggled with relationships a little bit. Like, I thought Elizabeth was more into Victor, but she turned him down afterwards for no strong reason. And also between Elizabeth and the monster, like, I'm not quite sure if it's a relationship between a mother and son or lovers. Adding a character like Henrik Hollander was a top-notch move, even though his role wasn't long enough. Like, I would have loved if they gave him more time on screen so they can build this new character to the original narrative properly. Great film that didn't, as usual, show how brutal and monster the creature is, but how fragile and vulnerable he is too. And that really changed the meaning of humanity and brutality for me and for so many people too. My final rating to this piece of art is 9 out of 10.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Write me down in the comments your own ratings, and I hope you give it its due. And that's it. See you in the next one.